Hey, how you guys doing, guys? Alrighty. Welcome into the final stretch run of a crazy Monday. It was Monday, March 11th, and this was the day that pretty much shocked everybody. Some stunning moves in the NFL in terms of the free agency signings for everybody around the NFL. And I'm going to get into my winners and losers of the day. So I'm going to go through each signing. I'm going to tell you exactly what I believe with each signing. I've adjusted my positions on a couple of these guys, but not that much. Let's go team by team. I have the whole list in front of me. Let's do it. So today, Terrell Suggs goes to Arizona. I really do like this signing for the Cardinals, and I'll tell you why in just a second, okay? So the reason why I like this signing for the Cardinals is, again, it's a veteran. I like bringing in veterans, especially for Cliff Kingsbury, especially for Terrell Suggs, went out to college in Arizona. And the fact is, he's going to help this very, very young defense. He's going to be of assistance to Chandler Jones or whoever is going to be the defensive players in Arizona. There's not that many great defensive players. It's also interesting, like, could Josh Allen really be going to Arizona? Could Nick Bosa be going to Arizona? Because now Terrell Suggs could actually be a mentor to an elite-level first-round pick. Like, Terrell Suggs is a Hall of Fame football player, so you know, if Josh Allen is selected here and it's all smokescreen with Kyler Murray, then Josh Allen might really be able to help out. Then Terrell Suggs, bottom line, Terrell Suggs might be able to help out like a Josh Allen or a Nick Bosa. Hold on one second. I'll be back in 1 second. Give me a moment. All right, so I'm back. That was hope that was quick. Anyhow. Atlanta Falcons, Grady Jarrett gets re-signed. Very good. These are all low risk. These aren't booms or splashes. Baltimore Ravens, Nick Boyle, a $6 million deal. Boring. Not that exciting. How about the Buffalo Bills? This is a team today that made some splashes. They get an A. They get a nice A. A B plus to an A. B plus signing day. Kevin Johnson from the Houston Texans. This was a guy that I really liked. I think he's 6'1" out of Maryland. Maryland kid, Baltimore, Maryland kid, good kid. And Kevin Johnson, he was on Hard Knocks. He had a really good rookie season with the Texans. Now Kareem Jackson was out in Houston. The same with Jonathan Joseph. So He had a lot of competition at the cornerback position. Romeo Crennel's a very old-school defensive coordinator. Leslie Frazier and Sean McDermott should hope to get the most out of him. I mean, Jordan Poyer in the secondary. I think the Bills need another corner outside of course, Tre'Davious White. And I think that Kevin Johnson is going to compete for that room. Frank Gore, I just talked about how great Frank Gore is for the Buffalo Bills because Frank Gore is a guy that's going to help out Josh Allen. You're only paying him $2 million. He's a Hall of Famer. He's been through every battle in the NFL. His value is priceless in terms of his experience in this league. There's nobody that knows the ins and outs of the NFL quite like Frank Gore. So Franklin Gore is a really, really good pick for Buffalo. Tyler Kroft. Now, Tyler Kroft is getting about $6.5 million a year for 3 years. And Tyler Kroft, you know, he's a guy, I know he's been kind of hurt, and I know he's a little speedster, he's undersized, but he's a guy that played alongside Tyler Eifert. He played in an offense in Bill Lazor's offense where I don't think he was even utilized all that well. You now have Kroom on this team. Kroom was making big-time plays for the Buffalo Bills. You now add Tyler Kroft since you already lost Charles Clay, and I say that you lose Charles Clay, but really Charles Clay's contract was like $10 or $11 million. It was a crazy contract for Charles Clay. And Tyler Kroft, that's a very underrated, a very savvy signing by Buffalo right here. I'm loving everything I'm seeing. And then, of course, the big splash, you get your center, Mitch Morse, into the fold, $11 million per year, 4-year, $44 million. 25 right up to 29, the second round pick out of Missouri. Mitch Morse, who played football at Columbia in Missouri. So really like this Mitch Morse pick. He was the anchor of the Chiefs offensive line that went to the AFC Championship game. And also Mitch Morse, I think he's made the playoffs maybe every year in Kansas City under Andy Reid. So again, more expertise in terms of Andy Reid coming to Buffalo now in terms of Mitch Morse. And then Jordan Phillips, who's a defensive tackle, re-signs with Buffalo. Chicago does absolutely, well, they don't do nothing. They sign Buster Skrine. I think that Pagano can use Skrine well, and Skrine is going to be making, so 3 divided by 16, he's going to be making about $5.5 million every year, and Buster's a decent slot corner. But again, Chicago is pretty good on corners and everything. I wonder if Kendall Fuller is re-signing there. I think he is. Greg Robinson re-signs 1-year deal up to $9 million for Greg Robinson, which is pretty hefty. But Robinson had a bounce-back year. I think he's the 2nd overall pick in the draft out of Auburn. And he's a big guy, but he was moving better this year. DeMarcus Lawrence gets the franchise tag, $20 million. And Jason Garrett, not Jason Garrett, Jason Witten comes out of retirement. So that is what the Dallas Cowboys ended up doing for the day. All right, let's get to the fun ones here. New York Giants did absolutely nothing. The Patriots, the Vikings just let go of Mike Remmers, interestingly enough, a guard. So it looks like the Bills or somebody's going to sign Mike Remmers. And could the New York Giants sign Andrew Zendejo? Zendejo's been one of my favorite players. I know Zendejo is really getting up there in age, but Zendejo has been battling a lot of injuries. He was up there with Harrison Smith. He's a hard-hitting safety. I think a team is going to give him like an Eric Weddle-like contract. New York Jets sign Anthony Barr. Big time signing. The contract details are unreported right now, but it's looking like it's going to be about $14.5 million. It's going to surpass Quan Alexander. I'm not in love with Anthony Barr. I think that Anthony Barr brings good leadership. I think he's an okay football player, but I don't know if he's a huge difference maker in terms of getting to the quarterback or in terms of being a linebacker. I think he's rock solid. He definitely can hit. I think it's an okay signing. I would give the Jets an okay grade on today. You signed Bellamy and Jamison Crowder. I think Crowder is more of a big-time player. He only played 9 games last year, but Jamison Crowder is very fast. He's 5'9". Again, you could throw screens to him. He can cut and break against man coverage. I think Gase realizes that Sam Darnold specializes in the quick game. Jets, I'm not going to give them a winner, and it would be too harsh, I think, to give them a loser. And Anthony Barr needs to really produce for this defense. I kind of like the signing, but it's not. I'm not ecstatic about the signing. Not ecstatic. I just think he's an okay, pretty decent football player. Trent Brown, not in love with the signing. This is a guy that's not a great run blocker from 49ers fans. They tell me that. And Trent Brown's a 7th-round pick, and you're paying him $16.5 million a year. I think it's way too pricey. And then LaMarcus Joyner, a 29-year-old safety. I do like LaMarcus Joyner. So here they hit a big-time splash with LaMarcus. I think LaMarcus was one of the best safeties out there. And now they're probably going to get Joyner for probably about 3 years. And just like Antonio Brown, I think that the Joyner signing is a big-time great signing by the Oakland Raiders. The Philadelphia Eagles. They get Deshaun Jackson in a trade. Brandon Graham resigns and Malik Jackson, and they let go of Michael Bennett. Big-time winner. You let go of Michael Bennett, you let go of the headache in the locker room. Malik Jackson is a Super Bowl champion. When he can stay on the field, he's going to be fine. You're now getting him for an affordable rate of $10 million a year. And Brandon Graham is also a very good player and a staple of your defense. 49ers. The 49ers, Mike Person comes back, and of course, Robbie Gould. Everybody loves Robbie Gould. He is coming back, and Quan Alexander. Now, Quan Alexander, I know it's not C.J. Mosley. This guy had a torn ACL, But even more worrisome than the injury is that this guy got suspended for PEDs just like a season ago. So again, this guy getting suspended for PEDs, kind of, I guess, cheating and putting those supplements into his body, that's obviously something to worry about here. But when Quan is on the field, when he's healthy, this guy has a big upside. I mean, he led the entire NFL in stops. Or in solo tackles in 2016. So this guy's been a pretty solid Pro Bowl linebacker when he's playing 16-game seasons. He's a 4th rounder out of LSU, and he adds to that room because you get Quan Alexander, and now you have Fred Warner. I know that people wanted C.J. Mosley, but that's one guy. I think Quan Alexander, his upside is higher than Anthony Barr. His floor might be lower than Anthony Barr, but this guy, Quan Alexander, he's a force on the edge. And if you put him with Fred Warner, you're going to have a good linebacking core. This is a very risky decision, though, because of the PEDs, because of the injury. It is a lot of money over a 4-year span of $13.5 million. It's a big risk by the 49ers, but they're trying to win a Super Bowl. And we will see if Earl Thomas decides to go out and join Richard Sherman as well. I think they need to try to get Earl Thomas. A big signing today that was very underrated is the Indianapolis Colts. Okay, the Colts signed Devin Funchess today. And it's looking like it even might be $13 million as a max deal for Devin Funchess. It's a 1-year deal of, I'll tell you what Funchess is making. It says he might be making $13 million, which is really a ton of money, but here Chris Ballard loves Devin Funchess, and this guy has a lot of skill, a lot of talent. He's going to be playing with Andrew Luck. They need a big body wide receiver, and now the Colts can go allocate other resources into the draft. I don't think the Colts are going to be drafting a Hakeem Butler anymore. Now that they decide to get Devin Funchess. I'm surprised that they didn't want to extend Devin Funchess either. I mean, maybe the Colts will take wide receivers eventually, but do the Colts want a Le'Veon Bell? Or the Colts still in the mix for Le'Veon? That remains to be seen, but it's been a very quiet day for the leaders in cap space. So to sum it up, the big winners today. I loved what the Detroit Lions did. I mean, Trey Flowers, getting Danny Amendola and bringing him back, but Trey Flowers was the big prize today. They get him for $16.5 million. That's a big winner move. The Redskins are not my big winner. The Redskins, overpaid Landon Collins. The Raiders overpaying that offensive tackle. That was a wild move. The Jaguars, I'd still mark them as a winner because Nick Foles is a pretty dang good quarterback. He's won a Super Bowl. He has a big arm. He's clutch when need be. You're only paying him $22 million, which is affordable for a quarterback. I like the Nick Foles signing. I also like this Devin Funchess deal, but the Detroit Lions defense now is going to be awesome. I mean, Nevin Lawson is out of the fold, so clearly it's looking like the Detroit Lions are either selecting White, possibly a pass rusher, or a cornerback. They really like a cornerback in this year's draft class because now Nevin Lawson's gone, so now you can add that to Greedy Williams. But their defense is going to be fantastic. I mean, you have Snacks Harrison, Devin Kennard, Romeo Okwara, Trey Flowers. You have Gerard Davis. You have talent on this defensive side of the football. There's some blue chip players. Darius Slay, blue chip players for Matt Patricia. And then you also get Danny Amendola, a guy that is used to, a guy that can play with Matt Stafford and is used to the Patriot way. Tennessee getting Humphreys was not a bad signing. I like the Colts getting Funchess a lot. I think that Devin Funchess could actually be a fantasy breakout star. I think Buffalo was very wise. I loved Buffalo getting Mitch Morse. I want Buffalo to continue to look at and get other guards because they need to fill out the offensive line. Tyler Kroft was a brilliant signing. Kevin Johnson is a guy to bring cornerback depth to the team. Frank Gore, the experience factor, as I just mentioned, was tremendous. The Raiders, they get a good tackle that I think can pass block. I definitely think they overpaid for that guy big time. And then they also get LaMarcus Joyner, and I think that Joyner is a really, really good safety. He was one of the best safeties that I had on my board. So to sum it up, I think the best teams actually today were the Colts and the Buffalo Bills. A team I'll say that did pretty well. I kind of liked the Raiders' moves today. They weren't terrible. I really like the Joyner signing. That excites me. But I think that the real winners are Colts, Bills, and Lions, I think, had great days. Ballard, Bob Quinn, and Brandon Beane. I think that the Colts, Bills, and Lions won the day with their moves today. They weren't the splashiest, except for the Lions. The Redskins, Bruce Allen, way too much money for Landon Collins. The Raiders had an up and down day. The New York Jets had a decent day. I mean, Anthony Barr is going to be making a lot of money. They also signed a very good slot receiver in Jamison Crowder. So the Jets also did not lose today. I think a team that might have lost is maybe the Redskins. That's a ton of money to give to Landon Collins. And the Jets with Anthony Barr is so-so. The 49ers one is a risk. I'm not ready to say it's a home run yet with the PEDs, the injuries, and inconsistent play of Quan Alexander. The more you think about it, the more you start to question the decision. But the fact is you have Fred Warner that's already a bookend right there. And then Arizona signs a veteran. So, you know, teams are doing well. The Eagles today, Howie Roseman did a terrific job. Malik Jackson, I really like that signing. You bring back Deshaun Jackson and Brandon Graham. I like all of those moves. The Eagles will be a winner for me because of their consistency in those moves. So those are the teams I liked. I mentioned a few that I questioned, and that kind of sums it up for the first day of free agency, which was wild. And how about the Chiefs? I failed to even mention the Chiefs getting the Honey Badger, Tyrann Mathieu, for $14 million. Very, very pricey for a win-now team. It's risky, but at least it's only a 3-year deal instead of a 6-year deal. So the Chiefs, I think it is risky. I think the Honey Badger might be a little bit overvalued, but if you can continue to win big games, then it'll all be worth it, I guess. So I don't really have a definitive answer on that. I kind of like the move. It's aggressive, but at the same time, of course, you know, $42 million is definitely a lot of money. So, alrighty, guys, it was fun recapping the day. Wild day. Free agency was crazy.